Hey guys, welcome back to the Curly Reader. My name's Amanda, and today I want to share with you my middle grade March TBR. So Middle Grade March is a month-long readathon that is hosted by Krista from Books and Jams and Katie at Life Between Words. And it is a readathon that is there to encourage adults to read middle grade books. And this was like the original middle grade readathon, and I am so excited that they're still doing it. This is now year number 3 that they have been doing this, and I'm so excited to participate. This is my first year being on BookTube participating. Last year I participated and I loved it. And so yeah, I'm super excited to be on BookTube this year, participating in Middle Grade March, because this is probably my favorite readathon and month of the whole year reading wise. I love reading middle grade. If you have been around my channel for any amount of time, you know that I love middle grade so much. And so this month I am going to try to read as much middle grade as humanly possible. I have a quite extensive TBR, and what I'm going to share with you today isn't quite all of it. I have a couple of little side projects that I'm working on for the month that coincide as well. But I wanted to give you kind of what I'm going to be reading to fill the challenges that Katie and Krista came up with, and then a few more that I would like to get to this month as well. So let's get into this. The first book that is on my TBR is the group book, and that is The Book of Boy by Catherine Gilbert Murdoch. I have no idea what this is about. I've never heard of this book until they chose it as the group book. It is about a boy, and I think it is set in medieval time, maybe? Not really sure, but I'm gonna read it and find out, and hopefully it's fantastic. I trust Krista and Katie to not steer me wrong, so there's that one. The next prompt, let's see, where do we want to start? Let's start with a book set in a different country than the one that you live in. So I live in the United States, and so a different country would be anything outside of the United States. The first one that I want to read is The Red Pencil by Andrea Davis Pickney. This is a book that I picked up at a library sale. It was kind of a cover buy. But it is set in Africa. I know, I don't remember where in Africa it is set, but it is about a girl who wants to go to school, and one of the people at her the refugee camp that she's staying in gives her a red pencil, and it's just kind of about what happens because of that. There are illustrations in this. It is told in verse, so I'm thinking it will be a fairly quick read. But yeah, South Darfur, Africa. So, Sudan. So there's a map in it. But anyway, I'm excited to get to that one. That one's one that was on my own TBR. So another one that I want to pick up set in a different country is The Bridge Home by Padma Venkatraman. This is set in India, and it is about 2 little girls who are running away, and they end up living under a bridge. And when they're there, they find 2 homeless boys that are living there as well, and the group of 4 kind of forms this family of sorts. And it's just kind of about their story of survival living under this bridge in India, and how they take care of themselves and that sort of thing. Sounds fantastic. So I'm excited to read that one. And then the last one that I want to read for this prompt is The Blackbird Girls, and this does not come out until March 10th, so whether or not I read it is going to depend on if I can get my hands on it or not. But this is a middle grade book that is coming out. It is by Anne Blankman, and it is about Chernobyl. So it's set in the Ukraine, and I am super excited to read this, but we'll see if I get my hands on it once it comes out. So those are my plans for that prompt. The next prompt I'm going to talk about is a book with illustrations. So it'd be really easy for me to just go with all graphic novels, because you all know I love me some middle grade graphic novels, but I didn't. I do have a couple, but not all of them are graphic novels, so there's that. The first one is The Very Far North by Dan Barrell, and this is one that was on one of my growing TBR lists a few months ago, and it is about a polar bear in the far north, and I really don't know what else, but it looks absolutely adorable. It has little illustrations throughout it. It just looks like it's so much fun, and it's about him and all of his little character friends. There's Major Puff the Puffin, and Boo, the reindeer, and it just looks so cute. So I want to read that one. Another book that I want to get to this year is The Marvels by Brian Selznick. This is one, I read Wonderstruck and The Marvelous Invention of Hugo Cabret, I think is what it's called, both last year. And I think this is my last one that I need to read that's like in this format of his, where he has like full page illustrations and then pages of text as well. And so these books are really thick, but the full page illustrations take up over half the book. So it's actually not that hard to get through them. Very, very excited to read this and to finish it up, or finish up his kind of collection of books, because I've absolutely loved more his illustrations than the stories, but the stories are really good too. But I love reading and looking through his illustrations. Another one that is a graphic novel that I want to read is White Bird by R.J. Palacio. This was on my Growing TBR last month. It won an award this past year. I don't remember which one. It was about a book that portrays the Jewish experience, I think. But anyway, and so it's a wonder story because it's R.J. Palacio. Julian in Wonder, his grandmother, Grandmère, it is her story, and she was a Jew that was living in Nazi-occupied France during World War II, and it was about how they hid and how they survived, and it sounds fantastic. So I definitely want to read that. I also picked up from the library for this prompt the Tea Dragon Society and the Tea Dragon Festival. These are highly, highly hyped graphic novels that I have not read yet that I need to get to. So I picked them up. Those will be no issue at all to get through because they read really fast. The next prompt is to read a book about books. And so for this, immediately the first book that I thought of is Book Scavenger by Jennifer Chambliss Burtman. This is the first in a series, and it is about these kids, I think, they moved to San Francisco, and she finds out that her literary idol put together this scavenger hunt, but it's all about books and clues that are either in books or about books, I think. But it sounds fantastic, and it counts for the mystery prompt too. So 2 birds, 1 stone, but I'm very excited to get to this one. Another one that I want to read that is about books is The Library of Ever by Zeno Alexander. This was a cover ad for me. I saw it at the library and added it to my Goodreads TBR. And this is about a girl who discovers a door into the ultimate library and just her adventures with that. It's fairly short, so I think it should be fun to get into. And then another cover ad for me from the library that I went ahead and picked up for this is Finding Serendipity. And this is about Tuesday McGillicuddy, who her mother disappears, I think, and when she goes to find her, she finds the mysterious place that stories come from. And so this sounds fantastic, and it has a super, super cute cover. So I'm a sucker for middle grade covers. So those are the books that I want to read that are about books and stories. The next prompt is to read a mystery. And so the Book Scavenger or Book Scavengers would count for this. But I also would like to read York by Laura Ruby. This is one that I picked up last year during Middle Grade March and never finished. But it is about these kids in New York City, and it's kind of like National Treasure, except with kids in New York City. So they're trying to find clues that are built into the buildings from like 1798, and it sounds really, really good. So that sounds fantastic. I want to read that. Another one I want to read is The Emperor's Riddle. This would also count for a book that takes place in a different country because it takes place in China, I believe. And it is about Mia Chen, who is on this grand adventure to China with her mother. And her aunt, Lynn, goes missing, and her aunt and like one of her aunt's friends were kind of investigating something, and so she thinks it has to do with that, and so now she is on a mission to find her aunt. Sounds really fun. So that one I want to get to. And then the other one that I put on my TBR is one that was kindly sent to me by a publisher, and this is from Little Bee Books, and it is the Gemini Mysteries. This one is the first one. It's The North Star, And I really don't have any idea what this is about other than it says the Gemini Mysteries, so I'm assuming it's a mystery. And it says one missing diamond necklace, a cast of suspicious characters, revealing clues. The Gemini Detective Agency is on the case. So we'll see. That one I'm adding to my TBR to try to get to. The publisher also sent me the second in that series as an advanced reader's copy, so if I get to the first one and enjoy it, I might pick up the second one. We'll see. And then the last prompt is to read a book to movie adaptation. So for this, I have a lot of classics because I want to read a lot of classics, one in particular, and the number one priority for me is going to be The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgkin. Oh my goodness. Frances Hodgson Burnett. Blech. There's a new adaptation coming out this year of The Secret Garden, and I am super excited. I grew up watching the old one, and I just am so excited to go see the new one, and I really, really, really want to read this. So this is going to be a high priority for me for this year. Another classic that I would like to read during middle grade March is Peter Pan, and this will actually be a reread for me because I actually have read this before when I was in high school, and I loved it, and I picked up this copy of it, which I adore, at a library book sale, and yeah, I love this copy of it, and I think it will just be so much fun to get through, and I really enjoy the Peter Pan movie as well. And then two other ones that I would like to pick up if I have the time are Charlotte's Web. I have never read Charlotte's Web, and I feel like that's just a travesty at this point in my life. So Charlotte's Web by E.B. White, and then also The BFG by Roald Dahl. I know there's a movie out of this. I've never read this, and I really enjoy a lot of the Roald Dahl books, so I thought that this would be a good one to read as well. So those are the books for the challenges that I want to read. And now moving on to other things. One of the things that I wanted to add to my TBR this year is to get a recommendation specifically from Krista and Katie. I talk to them both frequently on Instagram, and I've buddy read a lot with Krista, and so I think she knows my book taste pretty well at this point. And I wanted to get a recommendation specifically from them, not really in the challenges, but just something that they think that I would enjoy. And so Krista recommended to me The Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise. This is one that a lot of people have thoroughly enjoyed. I'm pretty sure it is about Coyote and her dad, and she is trying to trick her dad. Like, her dad is... Start over. The mom died, I believe. The dad then just like got this bus, and they've been on the road ever since, and they've never really settled down, and Coyote wants to start settling down, I believe, is kind of what this is about. And then the recommendation that I got from Katie is The Wednesday Wars by Gary Schmidt. This is one, or Gary D. Schmidt. This is one that she talks about a lot, and I have never read. It is a Newbery Honor, and it's set in the 1960s, and it has to do with the Vietnam War. That's all I really know, and that's enough for me. I'm good with that. So those are two that I definitely want to get to. They're pretty high priority for me. And then the rest of these are just books that in my perfect life I would get to these, all of them. So these are ones that I really, really, really want to get to, but they don't really fit in any of the categories. We'll see what makes the cut and what doesn't at the end of the month. The first one is The Pender Wicks by Jean Birdsall, and this is just about four kids, sisters, I think? Yeah, four sisters find themselves at a beautiful estate. I don't really know anything else. I've heard it compared to The Vanderbeekers, which I enjoyed but I didn't love, and so I think this will be interesting. I'm excited for that. Another one I want to read is Becoming Naomi Leone by Pam Munoz-Ryan. Pam Munoz-Ryan is like one of my favorite middle grade authors. I have read Echo, Esperanza Rising, and The Dreamer, I think, are the three that I've read by her. I picked this one up at a garage sale last year, and it's set in Mexico, I think, so it could count for being set outside of the country. But other than that, I don't have any idea what this is about. I just know that I like Pam Munoz-Ryan, and I want to get it read. So another one I have here is You Don't Know Everything, Jilly P by Alex Gino. This is a book about a girl whose sister is born deaf, and she's having a hard time handling it. She doesn't know how to deal with it, and then she finds a friend who is deaf or hard of hearing, one or the other, and it's just about their friendship and her learning how to accept her sister and all of that. Sounds fantastic. Excited for that. I need to stop saying that I'm excited for that. I'm obviously excited for all of these. Another one I picked up is My Life as an Ice Cream Sandwich by Evie Zaboy. I'm not super sure what this one's about. Summer 1984, Ebony Grace Northfleet flies from Huntsville, Alabama to Harlem, where she'll stay with her father while her mother deals with trouble that's arisen. It has to do with NASA. Jeremiah Nonfleet, one of the first black engineers to integrate NASA in the 1960s, is her grandfather. And she's super obsessed with space, maybe? I have no idea. But Russell at Ink and Paper Blog recommended this one, so I really want to check it out and see what I think about it. Another one that is high on my priority list because one, it's on my 2020 TBR, and two, it's just been too long. This has been on so many of my TBRs, and I have yet to read it, is The Girl That Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. This was the first ever middle grade March group book, and I never read it. And everybody that reads this just raves about it. So I just need to sit down and read it and love it as much as everybody else does. It's about a little girl who magically is given moonlight instead of starlight, and she starts having magical powers. I don't really know a whole lot else. Another one that is on my 2020 TBR that is middle grade that I would like to get to this month is Artemis Fowl. This is a series that I would like to start reading, and so I put this on my 2020 TBR. I think there's a movie that's coming out soon for this as well. This is by Owen, I think is how you pronounce it, Colfer. And it is about a boy who captures an elf, maybe, and they start retaliating. I don't know, something along those lines. It's a series that is pretty popular, and I would really like to see what it's about. One that I recently added to my TBR that I am really excited to check out is My Jasper June by Laurel Snider. This I have just heard rave reviews about, and it is about a little girl who something happens in her life and she's just feeling alone, and then she meets another girl, Jasper, in town over the summer, and it's about their friendship, and that's really all I know about it. I just know that it's gotten a lot of really good reviews. A lot of people love it. I want to check it out and see why. And then the last one that I have on this list is a chunker, but I read the first book last year during middle grade March and have not read the second one, and the third one comes out later this year, and that's Wondersmith. The Calling of Morrigan Crowe by Jessica Townsend. I really enjoyed Nevermore. I just never picked this up right away, so I need to get to this because Nevermore was fantastic, and I know Hollowpox, I think is the third one, is coming out later this month. Or not later this month, later this year. So anyway, that is the last one that I have to share with you today. Stay tuned because, like I said, during the month of March, I'm going to have a couple of videos coming out with even more books on them that I am going to be reading, special projects that I have in the works. And so, yeah. If you are participating in middle grade March, let me know what your most anticipated book is for the month. If you've read any of these, I would love to know your thoughts and opinions on them. Which ones should I prioritize right off the bat? Let me know. Other than that, I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that you stick around and subscribe. And until next time, see ya.